This layered delight, called Bebinca or Bebic, is the crown jewel of the Goan cuisine. Hi, you're watching Plating It with Wendy, where I share with you recipes which impress with ease. Bebinca is the perfect dessert for the festive season, so let's get started. For this recipe, we're going to be using 200 grams of all-purpose flour. I've already measured it out. And to that, we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. And to bring out all the flavors, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now let's whisk this all together and keep it aside. This recipe calls for 12 egg yolks, so let's start separating the egg yolks from the egg white. The egg whites can be used to make a nice healthy breakfast the next day. To the egg yolks, we're going to add 400 grams of white granulated sugar. Now we're going to beat this up till it turns light and creamy and almost doubles in volume. We're looking for something like an egg flip type of consistency. And this is the lovely creamy texture that we are looking for. To this, we're going to be adding 800 ml of coconut milk and the all-purpose flour that we had mixed earlier. To get that lovely smooth mixture, we're going to alternate between the coconut milk and the all-purpose flour, starting with the coconut milk first. Let's add in 2 heaped tablespoons of our flour mixture. Now let's add in some more of the coconut milk. And now let's add in the last portion of the flour mixture. Now this is totally an optional step. I'm going to put it through a sieve to make sure that it's super smooth, and I'm going to weigh it at the same time because I want to divide it into 3 equal portions. Now let's divide this into 3 equal portions to get some nice coloring to our layers. If you wanted, you could even go in with 2 portions. Now each portion that I have weighed is about 440 grams. Now that we divide the batter into 3 equal portions, let's add some caramel to 2 of the portions so we get that lovely color to our bebinca. For the darkest layer, let's add 3/4 cup of caramel. For the caramel recipe, you can check out my Christmas fruitcake. The link will pop up above. For the medium layer, we're going to go in with 1/3 cup of caramel. And for the lightest layer, we're going to leave it without any caramel. Now let's start preparing the cake pan to make the bebinca. I'm using an 8-inch cake pan and I've melted 100 grams of pure ghee, and I'm going to apply it to the cake pan. Let's start by brushing the base of the cake pan and then move up the sides and make sure that it's all coated evenly. Now here's something I like to do. I've cut out a parchment paper to fit the bottom of the cake pan. And I'm just going to lay it on top of the ghee. And I'm going to apply another layer on top of that. Now let's start creating the layers. I'm choosing to use the darkest portion for the first layer. Just going to give it a little swirl so that it all mixes up well. And we're going to use a 1/2 cup measure and a 1/4 cup measure. So totally we've put 3/4 cup of the batter to form 1 layer. Now here's a technique to heat the oven up to the perfect temperature. We're going to preheat our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, switch it off and switch on broil to high. Now on the stove top on a medium heat, let's cook our first layer till it semi-sets. This should take approximately 3 to 4 minutes. Now let's place this in the oven on the 4th rack from the bottom till it cooks and gets some color. Now let's take it out and brush the top with some pure ghee. Now let's pour in 3/4 cup of the medium layer and toss it back into the oven. And once the second layer has cooked and browned, let's brush on some more of the pure ghee and pour 3/4 cup of the lightest layer. Now let's put this back into the oven and continue the process till we finish all the batter. And don't forget to brush the ghee between each layer because it plays a key role to keep the layers together. Now let's pour on the final layer. As you've noticed, I've placed it in a baking sheet throughout to prevent it from burning since we started with the darkest layer. This looks amazing. Just going to give the last brush of some pure ghee on the top. And now we're going to allow this to rest for at least 8 to 12 hours before we cut into it and enjoy it. Now that the Bebic has got a chance to cool and firm up, let's unmold it. Now to help the Bebinca loosen up and leave the sides of the cake pan, you could either put it on the stove top or, as I prefer, put it in a hot water bath. Now let's leave it in the hot water for approximately 2 minutes so that it gets a chance to loosen up. To loosen the rim, let's gently run a knife along the edge. Now to unmold it, let's put a plate face side down and flip it over. Are you ready for the moment of truth? Let's go. Perfect. This is my grandma's recipe of bebinca, which she used to make every time we visited Goa. And I'm so happy that I got a chance to share it with you. Oh my goodness. Now let's give it a taste. Wow, I just cannot resist. Bebic is my favorite dessert. I'm sure she's smiling down on me. Hey guys, and before I go, if you're new to my channel or haven't subscribed already, subscribe, and if you hit on that bell icon, you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And while you're at it, hit on that like button and leave me your comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share with me the pictures of all the sweets that you have made. Enjoy! Bye!